Hello, this is Professor Tom Wolf. We're going to continue in a series of videos that explore the Java effects GUI system. Today for our second program we're going to implement the rock, paper, scissors. We did this program previously in Computer Programming 1 as a console program, and we should have already done it in Computer Programming 2 as a swing GUI. So now we're going to kind of compare how we can implement this using the new Java effects GUI system. I'm not going to go over a lot of the code. There's no point in me going over the rock, paper, scissors code. We've already done that twice. And this program will be video will be most useful to you if you're familiar with the code. Alright, let's pop over to NetBeans. I've got this open so I can copy the code, but I wanted to take you through the whole process. So I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to pick the Java FX application. I do want to create an application class. I'm going to make this in C temp so I should be able to use the same name as before. So RPS underscore FX. And it looks like there is a folder already for this here in C. So let's go ahead and go to C temp and select another folder. Let's see. Yep, there it is. So let's create a folder called effects. And now we'll be alright. So we'll be creating this RPSF effects in the effects folder. Alright, hit finish. Here's our new that's actually kind of weird. It's slow. So basically it takes a second. Alright, so now we have the two. This is the new one, the bottom one. And it just has that RPSFX file. Just to show you, the one that I'm going to show has the images. One of the things that took me a while to figure out is I have to put the images in the package folder. So we'll start by trying to do this without the images, and then we'll add them in. Okay? Alright, I want to make sure that I'm in the right file, so just to be on the safe side, I'll close both of these and double click the one that I want to open. Okay, we can see right offhand that this is the hello world. So when you tell it you want to create an FX application, it does the hello world model program, and then you just modify the program in NetBeans from there. Okay, so you can see here in the start we create all the elements of the interface. And this is the button handling code that we created. So the button code goes right here. So we can delete that. And we can also go ahead and delete this. And then we're not going to be using the stack pane. I don't know much about the stack pane, but when I tried to create a real simple program with two elements, they didn't display correctly with the stack pane. So there's more to it than what I know. We're going to use a VBox, which will give us a vertical layout where things will go over top one another. The top will have a text label for the program. Then it will have the text area where the rock, paper, scissors results are displayed. And then finally it'll have an H box which has the 4 buttons for the program. Okay? So the first thing we have to do is start defining all this stuff, and we can save some time here by popping over into the completed program to grab that. And so you can see here that we have our definitions for these, and I'm going to show you some stuff here. So let me copy this over, and we just go make sure that we're in the right one. So we'll define these here. When you copy stuff and it has dependencies, NetBeans is pretty good, so we'll just hit OK. That'll save us importing all that stuff. Okay? Alright, we're not going to use the group. we're going to oh, I'm sorry, that's wrong. We are going to use that. Okay, so instead of a stack pane, we're using a group. Okay, I've got my V box and my H box. I've got my text area. I've already set the font on the text area. And now when we do the buttons, we can save some time by just passing the names in. So this is the rock button. That's the text for the button. And then this is the paper button. That's the text for that. And then this is the scissors. Oops, what happened? There we go. And then finally we have the quit button. Okay. So in the original one I used the set text method. You can do that in the constructor, so I didn't do that this time. Okay, next we need to create a control handler. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a common handler for all three of the play buttons, the rock, paper, and the scissors button, but not the quit button. Now, if you're with me already, this is exactly what we did when we created the swing buoy version of the program. Okay, so let's put this in here. Again, I have a dependency that I have to import. So we'll get that. And the other thing that I need is my symbolic constant. So let's just go ahead and copy those right away. Come on up here. And I had put those up at the very top of the class. Although they could go and, they don't need to be there. They could be in the start thing. Let's put them right here though. Okay. So those are just the constants that I used in developing the game logic. Okay. So far so good. Again, we have a really long event handler that just handles the whole logic of the game. Real quickly, just to review how that works. When a button is pushed, you use the get source method on the action event to figure out which button it is. So this is the rock button, the paper, and the scissors. Once you know which button it is, you know the player's move, either rock, paper, or scissors. The computer move is random. That's going to be 0 through 2, which is rock, paper, scissors, 0, 1, 2. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and run. What we're doing is we're building a result string. So the result of rock versus paper, paper covers rock, player wins is our string. We build that through here, and then in the end we append that new result string to the results text area. Okay. Alright, let's see what's going on here. It looks like we've got some red ink. So event handler control is the name of the common event handler. So that's my handle event. And then so I'm still learning this, so it took me a while to get it to work, and you don't need to see all that. Let's see. Oh, that's wrong. So why doesn't it like that? Okay. I think we don't need this. Good, there we go. Okay. Alright, now we're going to add the controller to each of the game buttons. No, we're not using the stack pane anymore either, right? Let's see, I think we already defined root, didn't we, up here at the top? Let's check. Yes. So root is already defined. So we can get rid of this line altogether. Now the way this is going to work is we're going to add the V-box to the root. And then I'm going to add the other components to the H-box. So H-box get children. And when you add more than one, you can actually use add all. Okay, so this is going to be, let me make sure I have the names for the buttons right. I'm usually pretty consistent, but in going across these two programs, one time I named the buttons BTN Rock, and the other time I named them Rock BTN. So that got confusing for me. So it does help if you have some conventions and follow them all the time here. Okay, so we were adding the buttons to the H-box. So BTN Rock, BTN Paper, BTN Scissors, and then we want to add the other components to the V-box. So V-box dot okay, now what are we adding to the V-box? We're adding the text label. I didn't put that in yet, so let me go ahead and put that in. We'll call this title. Control-Shift-I to import the text from JavaFX. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's come back down here where we're adding the stuff in. So the first thing we add in the V-box will be the text, which we're calling title. Then we're going to add the results text area. And then finally we'll add the H-box, which has the buttons. So again, the H-box is a horizontal layout mechanism that puts the elements across, and the V-box is one that puts them vertical. Okay? Alright, let's see what's going on here with scene. I think I might have that defined up at the top. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we just need to do the initialization here. So scene equals new scene. Start at the root. And let's make this 600 by 600. Why doesn't it like H-box and V-box? Did I forget the declarations? Go back up here at the top. We can just put these right in here. Equals new V-box. Equals, whoops, new H-box. So far so good. Okay, so then we've added all that together. Alright, one of the things we have to do, we added the buttons here. I forgot to do some button work though, so we have to fix the buttons a little bit. The main thing we're good at is we've added all of the titles in. So what I'm going to do is get this work, and then I'll go back and add the images. But I have that quit button, Oh, I forgot to add that in, didn't I? You see that? I only have 3 buttons here. So we need to put the btn quit, and then let's see, add the controller to each button. Okay, so let's start with rock, btn rock dot add event handler, and I think we can just get rid of this and simply put control there. So control is the handler that I already defined. Let me check my other code and make sure I'm doing that right. Oh, set on action. Sorry, it's a little different. So set on action is how we do that. Okay. Set on action. Alright, and we need to do that for each of the 3 buttons. So let's copy that code and paste it in. And then just change this from rock to paper, and from rock to scissors. So now we have our 3 buttons. And let's see, now we have to add the quit handler for the quit button. So btn quit dot, and I think we can use that same set on action. Let's try it and see. Set on action, and then this should be evt dot system dot exit 0, which is how we quit a program. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's try and run this. So what we should have, whoops, I still got red ink in there. Where's that from? Sometimes it seems like the IDE just runs slow. So it's showing that there's red ink, but I'm not finding it. Alright, well, let's see what happens. So, person file needs to be compiled. Alright, well, let's try running it. So here's our basic GUI. Rock, paper, scissors effects, that's my label. This is the text area, and here's the buttons. So when I click rock, you can see I'm getting the different results. And then I hit quit, it ends. So the program is functional at this point. Alright, let's go ahead and add the icons in and embellish it a little bit. Now I had trouble getting this to work, and I finally figured out that I have to put the icon files in the package. So I can go ahead and just copy these. Put them over here and paste them in. And then we can go ahead and add the code in to add those. And I don't know that yet, so we'll have to look at that. So if we look here at the button, here's the code that we're going to use. Alright, let's go back into our work. Down here's where I set the controllers for each button. So we'll go ahead and paste this code in. Again, whenever NetBeans says, hey, did you want to pick up those dependencies, say yes. Okay? Alright, now let's just look at what the code does. So the first one here sets an image object. That's a a Java effects object. So it's going to make the rock image. And then we take the button and we set the image. We add the image to the button with the set graphics, and that does. And then set content display top will put the image on top of the text. Now this hbox set hgrow button rock priority always basically tells the rock button to grow to take up all the horizontal space. And we're going to actually do that on all the buttons, and then they'll have the same size and they'll use up all the space within the hbox. Okay, so you can see that I've just finished the first button here, and let's just for interest run this again and see what happens when we do that without having everything. So at this point I should only have the one button. Oh, and it did not run. Let's see what's going on here. This is what I was getting before. It's basically, it's going to say that it can't find the rock button file. And honestly, I thought this was because I was working across the network drive. So I'm working this locally here. But it doesn't like that for some reason. Set the graphics to the new image. I wonder if you have to compile it or something. That's weird. It just seems like there's this latency or lag where it actually should run and it doesn't, and then eventually it runs. And that's never a good thing. Oh, still getting the same error again. What the hell? See, input stream must not be null. Yeah. Let's go over to our files view. Yeah, see, so here I have the images in the RPSF effects. Let me just run the other one. And there it goes. So now it's working and showing them all. So, I'm not sure what's going on there. I hate when things are like that, because then you can't be sure if you did it right or not. That's a bad place to be. Alright, now I'm confused about which file is which, so I'll just go ahead and double close them. I know that this one on the bottom is the local file that I'm working on, so I'll reopen that. Oh, you know what? Let's do something else here. Let's go ahead and collapse this code for start. Nope, that's too much. I thought I could save some time there in the editor, but I can't. Alright. So these 3 lines, actually these 4 lines, I'm going to replicate for each of the buttons. So let's come on down now and do the paper button. Of course, this is not going to be rock anymore. It's going to, shit, there we go. It's going to be paper. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's image paper, not rock. Oh, you know what? Oh, okay, I see what's going on. Alright, and then this, of course, is the paper. Okay. Now we'll fix the scissors. Again, I'm going to paste those lines in. We'll create a new image called image scissors. And the name of that file is scissors.jpg. And then image scissors is what we want to add here. And of course this isn't rock, but rather scissors. Oh, forgot to fix this. Up here, this should be paper, not rock, because I copied the code. So again, I'm copying the rock code for the other button. Okay, we got our 3 control buttons done, and we do have to do some stuff with quit as well. So we have a quit image. So image quit equals new image, and then we'll come down here. This will be quit.jpg, and this of course is image quit, and then these two are going to be button quit. And then we want to set the priority to button quit to be always as well. Okay. Alright. Let's try running this baby and see what happens. Yep, that's still not going to work. So go figure, it's still not finding the local image. So it's basically saying it can't read the image file. But if we go over here and run this one, it works fine. I think I swapped the projects around. I thought I was running the one on my local C drive. Oh, they're both on there. Oh, that is so weird. Alright, let's try clean and build. I don't know if this is going to do anything or not. Okay, let's try one more time. Come on now. And now it runs. So apparently there's some issue with the latency of these files. I don't know what it is, but I had to do that. I forgot to change the hello world here. So you should ask yourself, where would that be? That's going to be in this stage. So right here, this should be rock, paper, scissors, FX. Okay. Alright, so now we have it working. I think that's all the embellishments. Let's look at the other code and just see if there's anything in there that I can talk to you about while I'm here. I might have added some more interface stuff. Let's see. Oh, okay, so we can put padding between the elements with these commands. Let's go ahead and add these. So we'll get the H box and the V box, the padding. Oops. That adds some space. That's like the HTML padding. Alright. Oh, and the set margins. Let's go ahead and add those in. It'll make it look a little better. Yep, that's going to be a problem because those are not defined yet, so we'll have to put that further down. So let's undo that. Come on down here. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you something that's interesting about this. Look at this syntax. This is a static method. So we're calling this method not on our version of VBox or instance variable, which is lowercase vbox. Instead, we're calling this method on the VBox class. So it's a static method. And then notice we're taking the results and applying this to that. So it's setting the margins on the result element, which is now within the VBox. And this one is setting the margins on the HBox element, which is what contains our buttons, which is also in our VBox. So sort of strange syntax for that. When you look at it, it makes sense, but it is just a trifle weird. Alright, let's run this one last time. I think we're good to go. And I gotta be honest with you, it bothers me that it couldn't find that image file for a second, and it seemed like I had to sort of recompile to make it work. Okay? So we could definitely do some more here. I could add some font to that title and make it a lot bigger. But we have a working game. So I hit rock. Rock versus paper. Paper covers rock, computer wins. Paper versus paper is a tie. Scissors versus rock. Rock breaks scissors, computer wins. So it always gives the player move first, then the computer, and of course the quit works. Okay, so at least for doing standard GUIs, the Java effects is fairly straightforward. And so you can kind of expect that the things you've encountered in Swing will be available. So you're going to see that we have a border layout. I used a VBox and an HBox here. Those are similar. There's also a grid layout. It works a little differently than the one in Swing. And then all the components we would expect are there. So we have labels, text,